There are other Zelda games I
Link to the
actually do
Past.
like. But Link to the Past, which is with Ocarina of Time, is considered the 2 best of the entire franchise. Hate it. Can't do it. I have started it numerous times in my attempt to play through it and at least say that I played it. You know, that way nobody can be like, oh, you never played through the whole thing. You'd love it if you played through the whole thing. So I tell myself, well, I'll play through the whole thing just so I can do it. I can't finish the damn game. I can't do it. It pisses me off so bad.
Wow.
And I was having a discussion with someone about that where they were like, well, explain to me, because I can't believe it, because they're like everyone else. They love Zelda. They think that's one of the greatest games ever. And they wanted me to explain to them why I felt like that. And I was like, I think the controls are bad. I don't think the graphics are really that special. I think the controls are bad. I think the controls are bad. And I think the controls are game-breakingly shit. I'm serious. That is what breaks it for me, is I just can't, it never feels right trying to play that game. In other Zelda games, I've beaten Minish Cap, and it plays like Link to the Past style. Top-down, you know, old school view, not the 3D style. I can play that, and I liked it. I liked it lots. I enjoyed it, and I beat it. Link to the Past, can't do it. Doesn't feel right, doesn't feel balanced, doesn't feel properly explanatory of what you're doing most of the time. I can't. I listed off several problems, and they were like, I just don't see any of it. I just don't get it. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter if you don't see it, but if you had these problems with a game, you'd agree that these are major problems, right? And they're like, well, hate's a strong word. And then they followed that up with, which is why I reserve it for Zelda not Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. And I was like, well, what are your problems with Skyward Sword? There's too much area and not enough in it. That was it.
Really? I thought people complained about not enough area.
Here's my problem with that whole thing. Not that was it, but that was all that was it. He was reserving the word hate, which he himself said is a strong word, for that one. Honestly, that's a completely mild, lukewarm complaint. Yet my full-on complaints about a broken control system were apparently not good enough to warrant the word hate. That's bullshit.
Well, you know what? That is one of my biggest gripes about Saints Row 3.
The controls?
No.
Too much area, but not enough in it?
Yeah. Because there's like literally nothing in it.
But do you hate the game?
No, I don't hate the game. I think that was a huge step back from 2.
Right.
And I think they alleviated it in 4, but in 3 it's just like that is the biggest drawback.
Yeah. Well, that was all he had. That was why he would use the word hate for Skyward Sword. But my complaints of the game is poorly programmed, badly controlled, graphics are not special, the layout and design is not particularly good or interesting. All that together, he didn't feel was worth the word hate. But Skyward Sword having too much area and not enough in it, that was worthy of the word hate. It is so amazing how blind people, like that one incident was so, like, such proof and amazement of people being so blind to their own bias that it was just staggering.
Well, I mean, isn't it like the standard for people to dislike whatever is the newest in a series that they like?
Oh yeah, that too. And I'm sure that is mostly it, even though he probably couldn't ever admit that to himself.
Because people...
And same thing with the new Devil May Cry, is it's really just people whining because it's not the old Devil May Cry. And
yeah.
I didn't see the fireball coming. Yeah, it's just people complaining that it's not the old Devil May Cry.
Because I remember...
And I'll give you
Twilight Princess had, like, huge backlash, too.
And now it doesn't.
When it first came out. Yeah, now it doesn't.
Now it doesn't. Mega Man 7, when it first came out, was hated, and nowadays, pretty much most of the big Mega Man people that people follow have all more or less consented to, no, it's not. It's actually pretty good. It's just different. And that's it. It helps, of course, that bigger names on the internet that people take their opinions from because they don't have their own opinions are starting to give better, broader opinions and are starting to denounce a lot of general hate for some things. Mm-hmm. Yuri of Wind offhandedly mentioned in a video that Final Fantasy X-2 is a good game. And I was like, oh boy, I can't wait for that review because it'll be so good to hear a bit of refreshing, genuine, mentioning of this game and not the same pointless. The person has never actually played it hate mongering.
Okay, so I think we need to call it a night. But I do want to say 3 things that are kind of odd.
Okay.
I'll go in reverse chronological order here of when they came up in my mind.
Okay.
Final Fantasy X-2. Because of some random like gameplay sequences of that I've seen, I want to play that very badly.
It's good.
And that is entirely why I want to play through Final Fantasy X.
It's funny because for me it's like I'm gonna get the HD remake, you know, and I'll try to play 10. Oh, I'm just gonna play the shit out of 10 too. Because 10-2 is fun as hell. The combat system's fast and fluid. It introduced mid-combat class changing, which is really cool.
That's what I want.
Unique.
That's what I want about that. And I'm just like, I want to force, like, because I want to know the entire story. Because story is really important to me in role-playing games.
I understand.
Specifically. So I want to get all the way through 10 and play 10-2. And here's another thing. I've never played Link to the Past. Ever. Not even started playing it.
Gotcha.
Not a single time. And I guess I'm just going to say 4 things. I'm not, in general, a fan of Zelda games, but I've enjoyed Zelda games.
No, that's pretty much how I am. I'm not a general fan of the franchise. There are some of the games that I have enjoyed. Very much so.
Yeah.
Which is why I always try to say it in a very not broad sense. Not in a defensive sense, but in a preemptive sense. That I don't hate the franchise, even though I do hate Link to the Past. I don't hate the whole franchise or anything. I do think it's overpopular. And I meant, hell, when we were playing this game before, I was talking about how I think Batman is overpopular. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of the same thing. I think people crutch far too much on their nostalgic for the franchise. Their nostalgia for the franchise.
They're nostalgic.
Proper tenses here. Whereas someone like me, who doesn't have a nostalgic attachment to it, is a bit more critical of it. How come there's no springs in the 2-player version?
Yeah!
Man, the 2-player of this game really feels badly tacked on now. I forgot like how much more stuff there was in the single-player stages. Holy crap!
All right, so.
Oh yeah, next thing.
Okay, so that was 3 things so far out of the 4.
I thought it was only 3 things.
I changed it to 4. I said that right before that one because I wasn't going to say that when I thought of it.
Whatever.
The final thing.
Final thing.
I've never played Chrono Trigger either. Not even once.
God, it's weird how many people I know that have never played Chrono Trigger, or at least not beaten it.
Like I've always wanted to.
It's a great...
I've wanted to play that way more than I've wanted to play Link to the Past, just because.
I won't say it's perfect, despite the fact I can't think of any cons for it. I won't say it's perfect, but it is a very good game.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I am fairly certain that it is a great game.
Whoops. Oh no, I didn't wait for that at the green.
But it's just, I've never.
Oh god!
I've never gotten around to doing it. You know, I've never gotten around to it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And it's just like it's not a priority to me.
Yeah.
But it is something I would like to do at some point.
No, definitely. I know I'll play through all of Zelda Majora's Mask, but it's not a priority for me, so I haven't gotten to it in a while.
That's what I want to do too. Actually, I want to play Majora's Mask.
And I need to finish Twilight Princess because I was actually enjoying it, and I just kind of kept getting sidetracked with other things.
I like that game.
What I've played of it, I do enjoy it, and personally, it's my favorite aesthetic for the franchise so far. I know some people have complained like it lacks color and kind of brightness, which is a lot of this. The franchise generally is a brighter or colorful franchise, and I get that. For me, I liked the more serious aesthetic of visual tone to that game. I felt that giving the fantasy of the world a bit of a harder edge really helped sell it to me. And one of the big selling points for me is that the last boss fight is against a giant monster. It's a sword fight with Ganondorf. And I really fucking loved that idea.
Yeah, I really like Twilight Princess, and that's kind of saying a lot because I was forced to play it for a long time.
There we go.
For monetary gain.
You tested it.
Yeah.
You can say that. We've been
I know.
far out of the...
No, I'm just trying to, like, make it vague.
Oh, whoops! The star ran out.
I was just intentionally making it vague so people would be like, what the hell does he mean?
Except of the many times we've mentioned that we're testers, or used to be.
Right.
Testers.
No, so I've played that way more than any Zelda game. I still think it's, like... I would say that it's probably my favorite Zelda game that I've played. But for nostalgia purposes, I put it equivalent with Ocarina of Time.
You know, I just can't get into Ocarina of Time. I don't hate it like I hate Link to the Past.
It's just the same game, really. To me, those are like the same game.
It's the Link to the Past of the 3D games. It wasn't the first. Well, actually, yes, it was the first one.
Wait, what?
It was the first 3D Ocarina.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, like that and Twilight Princess to me are exactly the same game.
Ocarina and Twilight?
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't really know. Like I said, or starting to say, I just can't get into it. I get bored really badly by the Ocarina of Time. I have not managed to get to the point where everything picks up all of a sudden. If it ever really does for me.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, everybody. That's the problem is
when you become an adult.
Well, the problem with that is that it's still just an opinion whether or not that really picks up for other people. Like, people say that's where the game picks up, and in general, yes, I'm sure it will. That doesn't mean it's going to be enough for me.
No, I understand that, but it actually, like...
It gets going.
It gets going. Like, everything else is kind of a lead-in to that point. They aren't really... They kind of work on establishing the world up to that point, and then it becomes actually a game. I'm not even kidding. That's how I view that.
I'm not saying you are.
And that's part of why I prefer Twilight Princess, because it
feels like a game the whole time.
Yeah, it gets to that point quicker. Like, there's probably about a half hour, maybe, where it's working on getting to the game.
Right.
But it does it a lot quicker than Ocarina.
Oh man. Man, we were going out there for a while just so we could keep chatting it up. Oh boy.